naive realism's not what it is. It is actually realism, perhaps, or objectivity, believing in an objective reality. Naive realism? That's ridiculous. Why is that naive? I've got all the evidence I need coming in from my senses that there's a real world out there. No, I'm not. It's not. There's not a filter that's stopping anything. My eyeballs don't stop anything from coming in. They don't sort out and stop this or that. They simply give me the information they're built to give. Now, true, they don't give me stuff like ultraviolet information and X-ray information, but they give me the information that they're made to give, the information they've evolved to give. On the savannah in Africa, they evolved to give us information of the visible light spectrum, that little teeny area on the electromagnetic wave spectrum. And it gives us that information, and nothing more. It doesn't distort it. Okay? And to the extent that it does distort it, we can figure that out with our senses and logic. Then he says, absurdly, good God, that he brings in quantum mechanics at 9 minutes and 25 seconds. Quantum mechanics! And he says that naive realism is possible in some way, it's thinkable, on the macro level, on the regular, but it fails on the microscopic level. And I think he means to say the subatomic, not microscopic, because that's what he means to say, I think, is subatomic, not microscopic. That is just absurd. This is how bad quantum mechanics is. It is so silly that people who've had their brains fried on Immanuel Kant love quantum mechanics. It makes sense to them. That's how stupid quantum mechanics is. Now, watch my videos on quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics does predict things with 99.99999% certainty. But so did Ptolemy. And Ptolemy had mathematics proving that the sun was moving around the earth. And he was able to predict astronomical events with far, far more certainty than Copernicus was. And Copernicus came 1,000 years later. With 1,000 years of benefit, he could not come up with a better mathematical mask on his theory than what Ptolemy had. Ptolemy was a Greek who lived in Alexandria, Egypt in the 300s AD. So, quantum mechanics is absurd, absolutely ridiculous, to the extent that it says that we cannot know, and these things are in a nebulous sub-reality until we perceive them, and perceiving them is what causes their properties and stuff. Frickin' absurd, okay? Straight Immanuel Kant, straight Kantianism. And that's why quantum mechanics is making no sense today, because everyone's running around with statistics and no one wants to explain anything or figure out the cause of stuff. And in fact, their dogma is that you cannot know the cause. Now, there are some people who say, oh, Mr. Cropper, don't worry, someday they're going to figure out the cause. No, they say they can't know the cause. That is the issue. I say someday we're going to figure out the cause. The quantum mechanic morons say we cannot know the cause. It's not possible to know the cause. That is the beef. That's where the problem is. And it's polluting people's minds. Evidence number one, Prodigy 2186. Cannot get his head straightened out. And he says, you're not describing reality as a whole, you're just describing reality as you perceive it whenever you say anything about the macro world and realism. Well, how would you know, what is reality as a whole? What is reality besides your perceptions? Your perceptions perceive what? Reality. So it's just Kantianism. It's just Kantianism. That's all he's got here. He said he wanted to make as few assumptions as possible, and yet he's got assumptions in every one of his pockets. His cheeks are stuffed full of assumptions. He's full of it. He's full of assumptions up to his eyeballs. He assumes. He doesn't have any proof or evidence. He assumes that our senses are filtering something out and shaping reality. What evidence does he have for that? He assumes that we cannot know the real independent reality. What evidence does he have for that? He wants to make very few assumptions. He is full of assumptions. That's all he has. He has no logic, no reason. And he's put aside the only certainties that he's entitled to, namely sense perception, reality, and consciousness. He's put those aside. He's taken consciousness over here a little bit, but leaving sense perception and reality out. He's got more assumptions than he can carry. Okay, on to video number 2. This will have to be quickly dispensed with because he's going downhill very, very rapidly. He at 2 minutes and 18 seconds.
It is by no means a simple empty space, and again, it is a mistake to think of any physical vacuum as some absolutely empty void. According to...
He's going into quantum mechanics again, and he's saying that if you have an absolutely empty void, he's getting this from some scientist or philosopher or something, if you have an absolutely empty void with no particles in it at all, what there is inside that void, guess. I would say nothing. Perfect vacuum with nothing in it, there would be therefore nothing in it. But he says that there is...
Quantum mechanics, the vacuum state is not truly empty, but instead contains a vibration. So
it's not completely empty, instead it contains a vibration. No. A vibration of what? What's vibrating? You cannot just have a vibration without anything there to vibrate. This is all I can do. I can't waste any more time on this moron. Thank you for trying. Go believe in God, you stupid bonehead. Jesus.